Today we're looking at a few projects that wouldn't necessarily make a video on their own, but I put them all together so we could check them all out. That's today on Tech Guy Life. So I have this PS3 here, and it is absolutely disgusting. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but there is just dirt all over this thing. So let's clean it up first. And I've learned from my previous videos and finally got some gloves. So I've often watched some, car videos on YouTube where they pull a car out of a barn that's been in there for 40,000 years. And the first thing they always do is wash it. I always wondered why. Like, why would you spend time cleaning a vehicle that you don't even know runs? And then I came up to this PS3 and I'm like, I get it now. I don't want to touch this thing before it's clean on the outside. So I get it. I totally understand now. Yeah, it's a little dirty. Okay, I think that's about as clean as this is going to get, but I do need to clean these USB ports. Okay, let's fire it up and see if it even works. Okay, beep's good, starting up. Need to get these gloves off there. Suffocating my hands. Okay, so it does appear to be running, and it looks like it's got previous owner's junk on it. Let's be Jessica. Oh, something I learned about PS3s and PS4s recently, and it paid off this morning when I was working on this one, is that they do not work through capture devices. So right now, this video signal from the PS3 is coming from my capture device. And when I first fired this up, all you get was a black screen. So when you fire up a PS3 into a capture device, all you get is a black screen through HDMI. And I thought, oh great, HDMI is broken, blah, blah, blah. Nope. All it is that it cannot do the security protocols in HDMI properly with the capture device, so it puts out a black screen. So to fix that, what I use is this little device here, which is an HDMI audio stripper. So what it does is it gives you digital audio out from the HDMI, like it pulls the audio out of the HDMI. But what it also does is strip out the security. It's sort of a happy byproduct of the procedure. So now you can actually run a PS3 to capture. So if you're getting a black screen, and it could even do this, like it did this on a monitor as well. So if you're getting a black screen on a PS3 over HDMI, get one of those devices. They're not expensive, and it'll fix the problem. So let's try a game and see if it works. I can hear it starting. I don't think the disc is going to read. It's just, I don't know, you probably can't hear it, but it's making some pretty weird noises. First thing, obviously, to try is cleaning the laser. Okay, laser is clean. Let's try this again. That sounds better. Hey, right on. Sure, this will test the hard drive too. I'm going to speed through this on video so you don't have to sit and watch the boring percentage screen that I get to watch right now. So I'm going to zip through this and come out at the end when the game is working. And after that, we'll reformat it and it'll be ready to go. Oh my God, it's finally done. That took forever. Yeah, I think I need simple. We'll go with very easy. Probably them. You win. Mine goes back. Yours up there. Okay, this is working great. Very easy is fun. All right, that's enough fun and games. Time to wipe this now. Get rid of all this person's personal data. All right, this is restoring. Be back when it's done. There we go. Another situation where just cleaning something fixed it up and made it totally usable again. So the controller came out pretty nice. Gave it a good scrubbing. Toothbrush around the edges here. Used a spudger to get all the gunk out of the seams. So it's nice and clean. So this is ready to go. Hopefully someone will get a use out of this and get a PS3 rather than be an e-waste. And that's always a good thing. So I have a couple of Nintendo games to fix. So I broke out my Super Retro Trio Plus in order to do the video capture for the games. So right now I've got Super Mario 3, just so we can see that the capture is working and that the platform is working. So there we go, and there's the sound. This is a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game for NES, and we will pop that in and turn it on, and we get nothing, sorta. Yep, looks like nothing. So I suspect this one is just a cleaning. This one is weird. A friend of mine gave me this and said it didn't work. The case was broken, so he threw it in a copy of Othello because, you know, everybody loves Othello. And he said it's really weird inside. So who knows what that means? So we turn this on and we get, again, nothing. Yeah, you can see the contacts are pretty tarnished. There's lots of oxidization on there. So, like we've done in previous videos, easy way to fix, white eraser. And here's where the whole desk shakes. So you can see the difference in the contacts just after using the eraser. They're definitely way shinier. But now we're just going to do the last step, which is we're going to clean it off with some isopropyl alcohol. Just going to give it a visual inspection, but I don't see anything that looks like broken traces on here. There's no corrosion or anything past those contacts. So I think this is going to be probably working just fine now. Give it a quick wipe down. All right, let's test the Ninja Turtles again. I think it's going to work first time. Boom. All right, so Ninja Turtles saved. Now we have to look at this guy. There is no screw in there, so that's odd. So you can see by what it says, it's one of these 200 and something games in one weird knockoff things. So let's see what we got inside. Oh, that would be why he said it was weird. It is partially out of the socket. I don't know if you can see that there. But this is a Famicom cartridge that is in an adapter to go into the NES. And I'm pretty sure this is just going to be cleaning, because there's just some sort of gunk all over there. But again, first off, this isn't even in the slot all the way. I wonder if that would be enough. Let's see if we can get it in the slot. Just like that. Okay, let's try it again. Turning it on. No. So there's still something going on here. But I bet you it just needs a cleaning. Okay, so we have two sets of contacts to work on. We have the adapter board, And then we have the actual board itself with the game on it. Time to shake up the world again. Everything's moving. Oh. So the Famicom had 60 pins and the NES has 72 pins. But essentially they're the same console. So a lot of earlier Nintendo games, stuff that came out at the release date, had these boards in them in order to convert them from 60 pin to 72. I'm just going to do a quick visual inspection and see if I see any trace problems. Everything looks okay, so we'll try this first. Nope, still nothing. Wonder if the converter board's on the right way. All right, now it's time to do about 1,000 points of continuity testing. First thing I'm going to test is to see if the pins here are getting to the pins here. So I should be able to just touch there, and we should see there's continuity. So that's getting through, and I just got to do this for every other one. Okay, so the adapter is connected. So the problem is either A, with the orientation, or B, with the board itself up here. Could be one of the chips is actually just outright dead. So there are some pins on these chips, especially these ones down here, that are really thin on solder. I'm just going to reflow a bunch of things and see if that by chance, fixes something. But that's all I'm grasping at straws at right now. I'll just reflow some stuff on this chip. Reflowed every pin on this board. Then I looked up 72 pin to 60 pin adapters, and it looked like this is the proper orientation, I think. So the chip goes on the back. This is the front. This is the back compared to where the chips are on the board. So I'm going to try this way first because I'm going to go based on some stupid gut feeling that I've got. Oh, how do I do this again? This way. So it goes like this. And then we put our cover on top. And I'm not going to screw it together. Screw it. Let's screw it together. Here we go. Popping it in and turning it on. Look at these weird, crappy games on here. Mr. Mario 1. How do we load it? B button. Mr. Mary. How do I get out of here? I guess I have to reset every time. There's Duck Hunt, Hogan's Alley, Wild Gunman. I'm gonna guess that's Galaga. Okay. Yep, Galaga.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Somehow when you reset too, it knows where you were. So that's kind of cool. Let's try Mr. Mario 2. Okay, so Super Mario 1, which is not working. What the? Yes, that clearly was not healthy. So we fixed a cornucopia of things today, basically just by cleaning and refreshing them. We didn't do any major repairs. We got a PS3 that was non-functional, and all we did was clean it. And now it's completely working again. We took a completely non-functional Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, just cleaned the pins, and now it's totally functional. And then we took this absolutely bizarre 260 in 1 game, which was a weird combination of a Famicom cartridge and then an adapter to take it to 72 pins to go into a regular Nintendo. And then it still didn't work. Tried it a couple of different ways. And we ended up having to just refresh all the solder on all the pins on the cartridge, and it suddenly came to life. Go figure. All this stuff is fixed. It stays out of landfill, which is all that matters. If you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.